Hey family, kids, parents, relatives, friends. We're back for episode 3. Can you believe this is our 3rd one?
Never thought, didn't know we were doing any of them, but I'm along for the ride.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
And we have a live audience this time, you know.
Back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's people watching us while they're feeding the cats, but that's okay.
I was trying to shoot the cats, but they're over there feeding them.
Some things never change.
Anyway, all right, so episode 3.
Why are we doing this?
Oh, well, we're doing this as sort of a video diary for us, right?
Yep.
And we're doing this to keep our kids and parents up to date on where we are and what we're doing, and
We're doing well.
we're doing well.
No, he's not a bad roommate.
So yeah, that's the purpose of this, and if anyone else finds it entertaining or whatever, that's great too. But you need to like, comment, and subscribe if you're going to do it,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, last video was 20 minutes long, and the video before that was like 15, and I was trying to get them around 10 or 15 because the longer they are, the less likely people are going to...
Because you're long-winded. I'll try to shorten them up. Okay.
I tend to get long-winded. Okay, so right now we are sitting in beautiful Crossville, Tennessee. We're at the Cumberland Mountain
That's
State
for our next
Park.
video.
Right. This is for just letting
Where
them
we're
know
from.
where we are today. So,
Okay. How'd we get here? From where?
We came from Pigeon Forge. We stayed at the Gateway to the Smokies RV campground. The campground was nice.
Yeah. It was in a perfect location. It was right smack between Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg.
Yeah, and unfortunately we were so busy, I don't think I got a picture of our campsite.
We were only there to sleep, basically.
Yeah, so this portion of our trip is kind of more like a mini vacation, because normally we've had to learn how to, like, we're living in our RV. And this little trip to Pigeon Forge was kind of like a vacation for us. So we were busy every day we were there, and it was fun. I was going to make this video 2 different stops, but I've got so much video and stuff to show you that we decided just to make it for this one. So, yeah, so the campground was good. It was right, perfect. It was right on the southern edge of Pigeon Forge, and right before the entrance to the national park and down to Gatlinburg, which is like 10 minutes away, so it was perfect. So, so what did we do when we got there?
When we arrived, we were told that there's a trolley system, which is very handy. For $1, you can ride the trolley, and they pick you up at the campground and they drop you off at several different locations, and it's about every half hour that it runs through. So we decided to hop on a trolley and go explore, and we went to a place in Pigeon Forge called the Island. I guess that was after dinner because we didn't eat dinner out.
Yeah, it was later in the day.
Yeah. While we were at the island, it's obviously very commercialized. It's like going to a big carnival. It's kind of like going to a boardwalk at the beach.
Niagara Falls, Clifton Hill type thing.
Yeah.
It's spread out.
Ocean City, Maryland.
Yeah, it's spread out, and there's just a lot of touristy things to do.
So it's very cool. I mean, you could spend a ton of money there. If you have little kids, they would love it, but you would go broke. So don't take little kids there.
Yeah, that's
It'd
true.
be a great place for a honeymoon. I mean, you could do a lot of things there. So we took the $1 trolley ride in. We did some moonshine tasting, which straight moonshine is disgusting. Like, it truly burns a hole.
It's kind of like lighter fluid.
It's bad. But all the flavored moonshines we really liked. And it wasn't just tasting it. It was like they put on a little show for us, so that was a lot of fun. And of course, after we left there, we wandered down a little bit and found a wine tasting. It was all sweet wine, so I got to try the sweet wines. Well, Steve talked. And then we went a little further, and we found a cider place, and Steve tried the ciders.
Yep, that's good.
Although when the guy turned his back, I helped myself. Don't take your eyes off me. I'll teach him.
Yep.
There's also a nice Margaritaville restaurant and resort in the island. So we stopped and had a margarita and toasted Jimmy. So it sounds like all we did was drink, but they were tastings, and but
Yeah, well, Margaritaville certainly has their stamp on Pigeon Forge and even a little bit of Gatlinburg. In Pigeon Forge, they have a hotel, a resort, and then the restaurant store. So they've
and they even had parrot in a cage outside.
yeah, they have parrots in the cage outside. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was fun. Instead of waiting for the $1 trolley ride back to the campground after having those few drinks, we decided to take a $5 Uber. So we Ubered back.
And why? Because I
was cold. It was
You were
80
cold.
degrees out, but I was cold. So, that was the first night. It was kind of only a couple hour quick night. The next day we had scheduled events, so we were more on a schedule.
Yeah, go on.
No, I've already done all the talking.
So I previously purchased tickets to a redneck comedy bus ride, and I'll show you. Again, I'll have pictures and video, but I have a picture of the bus. I know that. So unfortunately, I didn't take any video while we were going, but they had so you got on a school bus. Again, you'll see the picture, and they had a comedy guy tell jokes.
And history of the area.
A little bit of history of the area and where the term redneck and hillbilly came from, and
Took us to another moonshine
yeah,
tasting.
so we picked up the bus in Pigeon Forge and took us to Gatlinburg and dropped us off at another moonshine place. And actually, it was basically the same samples we had the night before, but it was still good. And then we went up to a lookout in just outside of Gatlinburg.
That was beautiful.
That was nice. And then
We learned about why the Smoky Mountains are really called Smoky Mountains.
yeah, and I'll have some.
Video on that.
Well, yeah, and I'll have some data, or not data, trivia, not
History?
just
What did you do, take
facts,
a picture?
facts.
Okay. Take a picture to insert?
Well, yeah, I have that, but I have a list of facts of the Smoky Mountains that we'll get to in here in a
Okay.
minute. But anyway, so then it just took us back to where we picked it up.
It was a couple hours.
Yeah, it was a couple hours.
Yeah.
It was funny. They had Southern slang, I guess is what I'll put it as, and I can't remember what some of the words were, but
Back hair.
Where
do you want me to park the car?
back hair,
Back hair.
which means back there, and what was up
don't know.
front? I don't know. I should have looked that up.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Over there.
Over there, and yeah, right hair.
That's funny.
It was good.
Yep, we
So
left.
yeah, that was fun. And then what did we do after that?
So we got off the bus and we had already booked a place right close by called the Skyland Ranch,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
right? And that was just, I think it's it's a fairly new place. You catch a chairlift to the top of a mountain. It wasn't that far of a chairlift, it was pretty short. You catch that chairlift right up there. It was a beautiful facility. So it wasn't busy. There were hardly any people there, which we thought was a little strange. But we got up there, you had some ice cream, and then they had
Yeah.
a cowboy out there wanting somebody to volunteer to learn how to lasso a cow. So who better than me to learn how to lasso a cow?
So you're looking at the video right now, and Lori
I'm
is
gonna have
learning how to lasso a cow.
I'm not really good at it. Kind of like how I throw a frisbee. I didn't know when to let go of the rope. That's just how I roll. But I did it. So
There wasn't a lot to do up there, but it was neat. It was
pretty.
neat. It provided a neat view of downtown Pigeon Forge, and Pigeon Forge is really spread out, and it's not really walkable. And the traffic can be kind of a pain, but
that's why there's a trolley system.
that's why they have the trolley system, and they have I think it's free parking if you can find it, which is nice. But anyway, so up on Skywalker Ranch, no, Skyland Ranch. I called it Skywalker Ranch. Star Wars for
Yeah.
those that know.
We came down the chairlift.
And they had a sky coaster or whatever
Oh
they
yeah,
call that.
kind of like the one in Ellicottville.
Yeah, And then they had some animals and stuff like that. And the place,
Probably better for little kids.
yeah, I guess. Yeah. And they had some food trucks that only one of them was open. For whatever reason, there just wasn't a lot of people up there.
It was during the week, and I think it's new. But
Yeah. So, but it was cool.
it was free too. We got a free ticket based on taking the comedy tour bus. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anything free is good. So after that,
We went to dinner.
oh yeah, we went to a different spot that the trolley can drop you off at, but we opted to drive. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we drove. So the first spot we went to was the Island. That was one of the hubs in Pigeon Forge. But the dinner was at the mill. Is that what it's called? The old mill.
Old
the
mill.
mill section of Pigeon Forge. And again, it's commercialized. Lots to do there. Shopping, restaurants, entertainment.
Right.
And we went to a place called the Old Mill for dinner, and it's basically Southern cooking. It's a huge restaurant operating in the oldest still working mill. It's still operational. So we had Southern cooking. We had
I
fried-
had chicken pot pie, and you
I
had fried chicken.
and then family style sides were.
I can't remember last time I had like a homemade pot pie.
Because I don't cook very good.
Oh no, that's not true.
So that was really yummy.
Yeah, it was.
And that was a long day. We put a lot in that day.
Right.
So back to the camper we went, getting ready for day 3.
Yep.
So
And day 3 was
excellent.
excellent. We went to a place called Anakista
In Gatlinburg.
in Gatlinburg. So we drove to Gatlinburg, which is, like I said, it's only like 10-15 minutes.
We spent 10 hours there.
Yeah, well, 1 hour was finding a parking spot, but
Well,
it was
because you drive a beast.
yeah. It wasn't that bad. You take a chairlift up to a bigger,
Yeah, huge
amount.
chairlift.
Yeah, big
It
chairlift.
took a half an hour to get up there. The chairlift. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was scary at times. We were way up there. Well, if you'd stopped rocking the car, I would have been okay. But there was no seatbelt, and babies were on the other car, and they were crying, and I was worried. Anyway, we got up there. It's really amazing. If you ever get the chance to go to Gatlinburg, highly recommend
I've got
Anakista.
plenty of video that you're seeing now, and the video doesn't do it justice either. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's an attraction. It's like almost like an amusement park without rides.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just truly amazing.
It's a neat place.
Yeah. So we got up to the top, and you have 360-degree views of the Smoky Mountains. And I'm sure in the fall it's even better, but it's
Yeah.
beautiful. The landscaping up there, they go
Yeah.
to the nth degree to make it really outstanding.
Yeah, it really is worth it. And then they had they had the bridges that go through the
those
trees or
those
whatever.
suspension bridges.
Suspension
Throughout the
bridges
tree.
to the trees. That was pretty cool.
880 feet worth of suspension bridges we climbed through up in the treetops.
Yeah.
It's cool. They had a small ropes course, kind of like the one in Ellicottville. We went through that,
Yeah.
and this was all included for the price to get up there. It was like $34 a piece.
Right. And
to get
they have like a restaurant up there, and they have
different bars, all
different
over.
small bars around that you can get, full
Ah.
bars if you need anything there. And it was just a really neat place.
Live music.
Yeah, they had live music.
Which
So
was really good.
what we chose to do was to zip line, because that's one of our favorite things to do. So we zip line, and there's
So fun.
here's the video.
The first zip line was 1,100 feet long. That was the longest one.
That was nice.
And then once we got to the end of that zip, we had to rappel 60 feet down to get to the next platform for the next zip. And I was nervous, but I thought if I don't look, I'll be okay. So I just didn't look down. I got to the edge of the platform, and he kind of gave me a little push, and off I went. But that was actually easier than the zip line. You felt safe.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. Once you got over the feeling of stepping off into nothing, no ground, it catches you and it just lowers you down. So that's cool. I got a video of that too. And so the zip line was fun.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm sure the video, you'll get that idea from it. So
You know, I suppose I hear the phone in the background. My phone
Yeah.
rings
Her
probably
phone.
100 times a day.
Probably hear it. Yeah.
Probably Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa.
Probably
Love
Alyssa. So then we walked around Gatlinburg. So Gatlinburg is a little bit
very
different than Pigeon Forge. It still has like the same type of touristy things to do, but it's more confined and it's walkable. And I like it. I like Gatlinburg. If I had to go back and stay
there.
I'd find myself a little cabin up on top of the hill and go around
Yeah,
there, you know.
it's really cool. And they'd have like secret side streets, and we'd venture up into these side streets, and they'd be huge, like like a German or an Irish feel as you're walking through the streets. All the storefronts were that way, and just really cool.
It's clean.
Oh.
I mean, there's quite a few people, but it's very clean and just
Safe.
safe. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Gatlinburg was neat.
Yep.
So that pretty much.
That was a very long day. Oh, after Gatlinburg, after we walked through the streets, we had a quick dinner, walked through the streets, and then by then it was like 8 o'clock at night, and they stopped running the chairlift. So we're like, let's catch the chairlift. So we went back to Anakeesta and rode the chairlift back up to the top so we could walk around up there at night because they have it all lit up.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. You could pay extra and go on like a private illumination tour or something.
Yeah,
we didn't have to do that. It had been a long day, but it was only like $13 extra. So if you get the chance, I would highly recommend doing that tour too.
Yeah.
So then back down.
Anakeesta is definitely a place to take in if you
Definitely.
go to Gatlinburg.
So then back down and back to the camper for bed because we were exhausted.
It was a long day.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So day 4.
I thought I was going to get to rest, but you don't let me rest. You drag me all over these hills, all over these mountains. Hike, higher, faster.
So the one thing about not working is we have more opportunity to exercise, and it's been great. I feel great. I know I don't look great, but I feel great. So anyway, so we went on another hike.
In the national.
It was in the national park, Smoky Mountain National Park,
which we've learned is the most visited national park.
I'm glad that was part of where I was going.
Your thunder.
Yeah. So I've got some fun facts of the Smoky Mountains because I didn't really do any research on them, and I learned a lot. So.
While we were on the 5-mile hike, we saw some pretty cool things.
Yeah, but I'll just give you the fun facts now. So the Smoky Mountains, the reason why they're called that is that, to me, it just looks like a blue haze that we kind of see around, where we live. But the Cherokee Indians actually were the first to call it, I can't remember the name of it, but they recognized the blueness of the sky. And what that is, we found out what that is the trees, there's so many trees there, they give off organic compounds, VOCs, and that's what makes the sky like a blue tint and like a smoky look to it. So that's what causes that. So I thought that was neat. So anyway, so the mountains themselves, they're some of the oldest mountains in the world. The park itself was created in 1934. It covers 522,000 acres.
500 million visitors a year.
Well, no, since it opened back in 34, there's been 500 million visitors to the national park. And what we learned is that because of its location, it's kind of central to all these major metropolitan cities. It's an easy drive for people. So it has more visitors than the second and third
combined
national parks combined. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I guess I just didn't know all that.
Yeah.
Another thing trivia that I learned is that you could not fish in the national park until 2017. And I'll tell you what, that stream that we walked up, the Little Pigeon River, that water was as clean. I mean,
they don't know we walked up, but we didn't tell them that. That's what we did on day 4. It was supposed to be a day of rest, but you dragged me out.
Yeah, that was part of our hike, the day 4 thing. But the water is just so clear. You looks
like you could drink it.
Yeah,
really.
it looks like you could drink it.
So clean.
So the mountains themselves, they were created. They were created between 200 and 300 million years ago when the North American continent and African continent collided, and it created uplift, and it uplifted the mountains. So that's when they were created. Some of the rocks in the park that have been exposed, I gotta get this right because they're old. Some of the rocks in the park are 545 to 800 million years old. They were formed back then. So I find that fascinating.
Because you love?
Because I love rocks.
No, me.
Oh, I love
Gosh.
you.
Great time.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
I come in second.
No,
Okay,
you're
close.
number one,
Okay.
my dear.
Rocks are a close second. You kids are third.
I just find it interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's old,
Yeah.
and it's really cool. I got some pictures of the stream, and it's just really cool. So anyway, this is the most interesting. It is known as the salamander capital of the world. The park has 30 different species of salamanders. Did you know that? Did we talk about that?
No, didn't talk about that. I probably tuned that part out.
Well, I find it very interesting.
I know.
So, 30 different species of salamanders. How about that?
Okay. All right, because we're
All right.
making our video shorter this time. I'm
Okay.
cutting you off.
All right.
All right. So day 4 was the hike through the Smoky Mountains, and the guide at the visitor center said this would be a good hike for us because it was only going to be about 1.8 miles. Somehow we ended up going 5, but that's okay. But she said that we would see some things along the way as long as we were looking for them, and we did. We found an old cemetery that you had to be looking for, which we did, and we found it. And it was really cool to see some of the people that must have lived in the area burying their relatives, having enough money to have a headstone made, and then others just would have a rock sitting there. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got pictures of that, so
Yeah.
I can see that now.
And then we came across the log bridge, which is a natural bridge. They put a support under it to kind of stabilize it, but it was a huge log,
Well,
fallen
yeah.
tree.
I mean, it was natural in the fact that
Right.
they used a tree. but-
Right, right.
Yeah.
Good spot for pictures. Took lots of pictures there.
Yep.
And then we found the remains of an 1875 farm.
Yep, got a picture of that.
So the
video
barn
of that.
and a house cabin, maybe watershed. We're not really sure what it was, but it's pretty cool to see it still standing there.
Yep.
So that was
Yeah, that was
end.
cool. That was
Yeah.
a good walk, and that was what, 5 miles?
Yeah, it ended up being 5 miles.
Yep.
But
Boy,
anymore, that's nothing.
piece of cake, except when we go to bed at night, and
Don't
Lori.
Don't tell.
Oh my
legs.
leg!
Yeah. Oh, is it starting to
Oh,
rain?
it's starting to rain.
Oh, so look forward to our next video, guys. It will be, hey, this is the first rain we've had in 27 days.
I know, the weather's been fantastic.
So our next video will be all about Crossville, Tennessee, and the Cumberland Mountains. Catch you
and
later.
maybe Nashville. Bye-bye.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Bye. Ready?
Go ahead. Hi, fam.
Hi, fam. Kids. What?
No.
No. No black cat. Not in the last couple days.
Huh. Oh.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. Oh, dear. Yeah, yeah.
Whose cats are they? Oh,
Yeah.
there's the black cat
Right
right there.
there.
Oh.
He probably knows your voice.
Okay. It was that. We go back. Start over. Crazy people looking for their cats. I
Yes.
don't know.
Well, they're not their cats. They just like to feed the
Stray
cats.
cats.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, can't get away from it. They feed stray cats at home. They feed stray cats while we're camping. Okay.
right.
All right, back to where we were.
All right, let's try this again.
Anyway.
3, 2, 1, go.